Project 12-1 has us go over the basic networking of a Linux system. I'm also going to show some new commands that are coming up and going to be probably replacing old commands in the coming years. So first, log into the GNOME desktop as sample user 1. You'll log in and it should look like mine on the video here. You'll find the network icon in the top bar. Left click on it and click on Network Settings. When Network Settings comes up, make sure Wired is selected on the left side and click the cogwheel in the lower right corner. Here you'll need to record down your IP address, your default route, and your DNS information. Once those are recorded, we'll click on IP version 4 and we will change the drop down from DHCP to manual. And then we'll put in the addresses that we recorded. The net mask on your system was not displayed in the details. There's a command line way of getting that. On my system it showed /24, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But for yours, just go ahead and use 255.255.255.0 and then supply the gateway that was set. We should probably all be using Oracle VirtualBox, so we probably all have the same settings. Your DNS server will probably be different. I'm just going to put one of them in. Now we'll click Apply. And now it wants us to switch to a command prompt. Instead of doing the Control at F2, I'm going to hit Activities and open up a terminal window. And I will switch over to the root account with the SU command. Now I'll type ifconfig. These are one of the depreciated commands that may be going away in coming years and being replaced with the IP command. So with IP address list, it will list the address of our interfaces, very similar to interface config. So you see the output is very similar to the previous command. We notice that our interface is ENP0S3 on this particular system. Many Unix and Linux systems will use ETH0 for the first Ethernet card, ETH1 for the second network card, and so forth. But from system to system, the naming conventions will be different. So you almost always have to do ifconfig or the new IP address list to figure out what interfaces you have on your system. Next, we'll look at the configuration for our network adapter. So use the cat command. We'll go into the etc directory, sysconfig, network scripts, and then we'll type ifcfg dash and our adapter name. Mine is ENP0S3. Yours should be identical or very similar. You may have a different S number. So our configuration shows that we have addresses statically assigned. The boot protocol is set to none, so we're not going to get automatic addresses. Now it wants us to bring down the interface with the if down command and the interface name. I'm going to type ifconfig and note that the interface no longer has an IP address listed. So let's bring the interface back up. with the if up enp0 s3 and do ifconfig. Notice that the IP address is now set again on enp0 s3. I have a little extra note here. It shows the newer IP command. So I have IP link set our device enp0 s3 to down. And then the new command for viewing the addresses, IP address list, will show that the enp0 s3 does not have an IP version 4 address listed. I can use my up arrow key and change the down to up. Use my up arrow key to bring back the IP address list command. And I see that the Ethernet adapter now has the 10.0.2.15 address back in place. So both commands are working currently, and I'm thinking some future version of Cent or Linux, by default they will have the ifconfig command removed from the system. Now to test the internal TCP IP stack, we'll try to ping ourselves 10.0.2.15. Linux will continuously ping until you hit Control C, or you can start up ping with a set number to ping. So I'll use my left control key and hit C on the keyboard. Remember, the right control key you cannot use if you're using VirtualBox. In Windows, if you want a continuous ping, maybe you're testing out firewall or VPN connectivity and it's not working, so you want to ping until you make a configuration change on the router until it starts to get a reply, you would add a -T to the Windows ping. Otherwise, Windows will only ping 4 times and stop. The -T for Windows, I've seen it on job entry-level exams or interview questions and stuff that they ask entry-level employees. So -T is an important thing to remember on a Windows ping. So we have a netstat-i command brings us statistics for our interface on how many packets were transmitted and how many packets were received. So received is RX and transmitted is TX. It also lists any that were errors. Now the new command, we have IP-S link, gives us very similar output on each of the interfaces on how many bytes were transmitted and received. And actually it's looking like this gives us a bit more information. Not only gives number of packets, but also the total bytes transferred and received for the interface. This one, IP-S link, is the new command. I've seen some distributions where netstat is not installed by default anymore. Now they want us to exit out of our command prompt. And I believe I missed a step number 7, where they wanted us to go back into the graphical interface and turn DHCP back on. So I'll go ahead and click the cogwheel since this network is still up and make that change now. So I'll click on IP version 4 and set this back to automatic DHCP. I'm going to reset it by turning it off and turning it back on. The same thing as the if down and if up command, or the IP set, IP link set device enp0s3 down or up. So there I got my DNS server back by clicking it on and off. So now I'll click on the activities menu and close down the configuration. So now we want to go to Ubuntu and start this system up and log in to Ubuntu as root and try the similar commands that we did in CentOS. So here we try ifconfig. I noticed that ETH0 is the interface name instead of ENP0S3. Let's also try IP address list and see if that command is available in Ubuntu, and it appears that it is. We can look at our interface configuration file. And this file tells us that ETH0 is set to auto start. And the next line, the bottom line there, ETH0, the internet address is supposed to be gotten from DHCP. We can bring down the interface. The interface goes down. They want us to put a semicolon in there and then bring it straight back up. But I'm going to separate these out, and I'm going to use the IP link command to bring it back up. So I'm using the new command to bring it up, the old command to bring it down. I'll use IP address list and verify that the IP address is still there. IP address is not there. Mixing the two commands may be messing something up. So I'll type in ifup ether0, and I notice that it does run through a DHCP script, and looks like a reset. Let's redo the IP address list, and our IP address is back. So we may have to do a little bit more research on what happens if you try to mix the if down, if up commands with the IP command.